if Ravens make this one significant change on defense, it would take them from being really great to being probably the best in the league by far. We know with the Baltimore Ravens, they have their outside corners and they have their slot corners, but they keep them in the same positions all game long. They have one corner playing on the left side and they have the other corner playing on the right side, and they stay at those positions throughout. So opposing teams, they can match up their receivers with whoever they want to. If they feel like, oh, we got a chance to really go at that guy, they'll just put that receiver on that side because our corners don't follow. But this could be the season that they actually do. This came out last week, and shout out to my guy Nikhil Mehta. I had the opportunity and the privilege of speaking with him during draft season on my guy Jason Huddle It Up Films on his YouTube channel. He said the following. He said the Ravens typically keep their boundary corners on one side of the field, but Zach Orr said they will consider having Nate Wiggins, second-year corner Nate Wiggins, breakout season incoming Nate Wiggins. They will consider having Nate Wiggins follow opposing wide receiver ones at some point in the future. Zach Orr said that might be something that we do. Man, please, 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 please. We have been asking for this. A lot of us have been asking for this for a long time. I'll take you back to last year. Last year, our boundary corners or our outside corners were Nate Wiggins and were Brandon Stevens, and Marlon Humphrey was primarily a slot cornerback for the Baltimore Ravens. Nate Wiggins, obviously he didn't play all the snaps from jump, but once he got going, he really got going. And so he had his side of the field held down. And teams, they go at him a little bit, but he didn't give up nothing. He didn't even give up no touchdowns last year. Marlon Humphrey, you know, he's a baller, so he held it down. But teams were picking on Brandon Stevens a lot last season, a whole lot last season. But since the Baltimore Ravens, they don't really move their corners like that, teams could take advantage. They could put their best receiver, wherever they saw 21, they could put their best receiver over there and be like, hey, Ravens ain't going to switch nothing up, so we straight. We know exactly what to do. We know exactly who to go at. But if the Ravens make this change, that's a significant change too, man. Please, Zach, please, please. To have the corners actually follow, like, that would really make the corner step it up too. Because if you following a receiver around the field, then that's your guy, and you trying to take him out the game. And that would also allow you to become more familiar with his game throughout the game. Now, obviously, corner, you got to go against every type of receiver that there is, but if you are just really following a team's number one, wherever he goes, you go. Then you're going to learn the ins and outs of that wide receiver, know what he likes to do, know what he doesn't like to do, know what type of coverage works against him, know what type of coverage may not work so well against him. But that'll allow you to understand him that much more so you could break him down and you could lock him down. Now, obviously, it could go the other way around too. That receiver could get to know you. So that is one way where having those boundary corners stay where they're at, it can sort of work in your favor. Because the wide receiver, they may not get used to going against the same corner all game. So that could work in your favor too. But I do like the idea because it would bring so much more versatility to this Baltimore Ravens defense. We made it to my favorite part of the videos where we get to hear questions from y'all. Send me an email at teamkeepitclean@gmail.com if you want to take part in it, or you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids and become a Team Keep It Clean patron if you want to show the channel a little extra support, and send your question in a DM on there. First question came from my guy, Andre. He said, what's good, Ingraven? What's up, Andre? He said, per usual, I really enjoy the content you're putting out. Shout out to Team Keep It Clean. Shout out to y'all for real, man, because y'all run these videos, so I appreciate y'all. He said, my question is, what do you think of the rotation of key positions? What I mean is, how do you think they should use backup players such as Keaton Mitchell and Justice Hill, or D. Hopper and Tez Walker? Derek Henry is obviously number one, but the 2 and 3 positions has been the questionable spots in the running back room. Now, first with that, we'll start with that. I'll say leave it as is. Derek Henry, obviously, Hall of Famer, been amazing. Justice Hill at that number 2 running back spot, he has been amazing. With Keaton Mitchell, we know what he did before. Oh, and it was great. But since Justice Hill has been holding it down, you don't try to fix something that's not broken. You still want to give Keaton Mitchell some opportunities for sure, without a doubt. You find a way to get him on the field too. But you don't just, in my opinion, you don't just have him supplant Justice Hill and take over for Justice Hill just because he's back and he's healthy now. You could have him at kick returner. You could try that. And then, of course, you have some plays for him throughout the game. And then just really see how he's doing. See how he's doing and see how things are coming along. And then you can insert him more and more throughout the game. Sometimes you might want to give Derrick Henry a breather. Sometimes you want to give Justice Hill a breather. Sometimes you just, regardless if they even need a breather, you want Keith Mitchell to be out there on that field. So you would just find a way to get that done. But again, I still think it will be Derrick Henry, number 1, Justice Hill, number 2, Keith Mitchell, number 3. He also said the same question is for the wide receiver room. Bateman and Flowers are 1A, 1B, but who should be at the 3 spot? I think it's right now, so it's a given that's DeAndre Hopkins' spot. I know a lot of people have felt like Tez Walker, he could be that 3 spot. And he could be eventually, but I think now this is still a learning season for him. I think he'll get way more opportunities than he did last year. But I still think that would be DeAndre Hopkins' spot not to lose, but that's his spot this year. That's what they brought him in for, to really complement Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman, and also to teach Tez Walker how to unlock another level of his game, along with the development of our own coaching staff who've been killing it at wide receiver recently, and I love it. But I think that's what DeAndre Hopkins was brought in for. So I think that number 3 receiver spot is his. He said, as you mentioned, they can all give much-needed rest to the starters. Should they backups be used based on the opponent and give the starters some much-needed rest against teams that might not pose as much of a threat? He said, thank you and God bless. I think with that, it all just depends on how the games are going. Because there are going to be some games where, starters, yo, boy, halftime, y'all ain't got to come back out on the field no more. We got it. And the game will be locked up. But there'll be some other games when, it's going to be stressful for us as Ravens fans, but definitely for the players because they're the ones suiting up. And it'll be them close games. So it's always nice when you have good quality depth, and the Baltimore Ravens have a lot of that this year. And everything is just on a game-by-game basis with how they use it. Next question came from my guy, DeShawn. He said, what's up, Team Keep It Clean fam? I hope everyone's day is going well. We're all patiently waiting for football to start, and that let my mind wander a bit. First, I know it's been talked about, but in my opinion, not enough. It's absolutely crazy what we have. Lamar, King Henry, D-Hop, and now Jair Alexander on the same team. Maybe D-Hop isn't the player he once was, but it's got to remind you of when all the boys get back together, you know. I love that comparison. I loved it. He said, this got me thinking about Jair Alexander. He's always been a favorite non-Raven, but obviously I can't say that anymore. Nice. He said, who are some of your favorite non-Ravens? Tyrone Tracy Jr. is someone I have very high hopes for. Maybe Scatterbo. That's the running back from the Giants, right? Tyrone Tracy Jr. He said, Scatterbo takes the starting job in New York, and we can see Tracy Jr. in purple one day. That could be a little ways away if that's a potential. But he said, peace is something that I fought for a long time for, and I can hope all the Team Keep It Clean is winning that fight too. Catch y'all later. Oh, yeah. And when you win that battle with achieving peace, it's the best thing ever. And you got to protect it, too. So I appreciate you. Some of my favorite players that are not Ravens, that's Jadeveon Clowney. And, hey, it's every day that passes, it's looking less and less likely. Shout out to Isaiah. But, Jadeveon Clowney, it's crazy because DeAndre Hopkins was another one. He was another one. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins and Jadeveon Clowney. They were two of my favorites. I was about to say especially Jadeveon Clowney, but especially DeAndre Hopkins too. I guess it's a Texans thing. I don't know. But both ballers. And again, when Jadeveon Clowney got signed I was like, oh, yes, let's go. And he killed it for the Ravens. And I expect DeAndre Hopkins to do the same thing. Next question came from my guy, Matt. He said, what's up, Ingraven? First and foremost, I want to say how excited I am that training camp is finally here, which means that we're that much closer to live streaming games, which is my favorite part of watching Ravens games. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I'm looking forward to that, too. That should be a lot of fun. Preseason is right around the corner, or is here now, but the first Ravens preseason game is right around the corner. But, yeah, anyway, continue. He said, your humor and your love for the team make me feel like I'm watching the game with a friend. No. I disagree. It should make you feel like you're watching a game with family, because we all family up in here, man. We all family. Team Keep It Clean, we family. So much love to you, man. He said, now, to get to my question, who do you think is a bigger threat to the Ravens to win the AFC North, the Bengals or the Steelers? The Steelers, I believe, have the better overall roster, but some of their talent isn't the youngest. Meanwhile, the Bengals have Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and that annoying Raven killer Jamar Chase, but their defense is all kinds of bad. Personally, I think this year the Steelers might be our biggest threat in the division, even though I fully expect the Ravens to take care of business regardless. Appreciate you as always reading my long messages, and just like Aaron Rodgers is going to be after Nnamdi Madubuike sacks him, I'm out. Appreciate that, Matt. I agree. I think it will be the Steelers, and the reason I say the Steelers is because before Aaron Rodgers, before DK Metcalf, before Jalen Ramsey, before Malik Harrison, the Steelers, keep finding a way to beat the Ravens. They find a way to beat the Ravens just about every year. And their teams could be all kinds of bad. Their teams could be going through all kinds of drama. Their teams could be facing all kinds of issues. But every year, normally they find a way to beat the Baltimore Ravens, at least once. And it's just like some of the games will be crazy. It'll be like, what is going on? What is happening? How did this happen? But it happens. But now they did add all of those guys that we mentioned, and they still got Mike Tomlin as their coach. So I would still think it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, with the Bengals, they're a threat too. But the Bengals, they've been stressing us out like crazy with the way them games been going. But Ravens just keep winning, which hey, we ain't got no problem with. I mean, that's the name of the game, win. But so I'll go with Pittsburgh. Next question came from my guy Chauncey. He said, what's up, Ingraven? Hopefully all is well. Our offense is more complete than we've seen in a long time. I think we can all agree that we could use another guard for competition and depth. I agree. But will they? We'll see. He said, however, I think another thing is missing a short yardage running quarterback. Bringing Mandrews in on 4th and short is a clear indicator of what is about to happen. It is with that pull push, but it's like the tush push. It's like borderline unstoppable. It's like really like tough to stop it. Usually the only way that the Ravens end up getting that play stopped is from a false start, because those have happened a couple of times on those pole pushes. Anyway, he said, but it does make it predictable. But again, it's even when though it's predictable, it's still tough to go against. He said, having a QB there keeps the defense a little more honest. Maybe even lining up Henry at QB since he has actually attempted and completed passes in the NFL. What are your thoughts on that? If you're lining up Derrick Henry under center, then I think that could be a giveaway too. That could be a giveaway too. It could be another one of those situations where, hey, is Derrick Henry there? You probably still ain't going to stop him. But I still think that would be a giveaway. But think about this. If they had a short yardage QB, Lamar's driving a team down the field, it's 4th and inches. They take Lamar out. They bring in a short yardage QB. Wouldn't that be predictable too? Next question came from my guy Emerson. He said, hey, Graham, pretty simple question today. Reuben, Lowery, an undrafted corner out of Chattanooga, really seems to be pushing to make the active roster. Do you think he has a legitimate shot to do so? Whew. I think it's an extremely long shot. Extremely long shot, because I even think the 2 drafted corners, it's a long shot for them too. Because Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Cheeto Awuzie, Jair Alexander, there's TJ Tampa, there's Jalen Armour-Davis. That's 6 right there. That's 6 corners right there. We didn't even talk about the two corners we drafted. And then when you bring up Lowery too, so it's a lot. It's a whole lot at cornerback. So that's why I say it's a long shot, man. He said, for me, if it's between him and Jalen Armour-Davis, I definitely think he has a real shot. It seems like every other day we hear his name in a positive light, which is not the case for a lot of these other guys. I don't want anyone to be surprised when he plays a big role for us in the future. Watch for number 30 in the preseason and just maybe the regular season too. Thank you for taking my question. Thank you for even sending it. Preseason, yeah, like with whether it's an undrafted guy, somebody drafted low, preseason is for a lot of the roster bubble guys. It's not only for them with their chance with the Baltimore Ravens, but just in the NFL in general. So even if stuff for him with him doesn't work out with the Ravens for some reason, he's still got 31 other teams that'll be watching. 31 other opportunities that he could possibly get. So you want to go out there and do your thing. Now, when you talk about between him and Jalen Armour-Davis, if that's a possible battle, I feel like you gotta feel like it will go to Jalen Armour-Davis. 1, he was drafted, but 2, the Baltimore Ravens have continued to hang on to Jalen Armour-Davis, despite all the injuries or through all the injuries. Again, I always say last year I really thought that they were going to cut him. I thought he was out of there for sure. Ravens said nope. So that just continues to show how much they love Jalen Armour-Davis. Somebody who got drafted right with him was Demarion Williams, was Pepe. And they cut him last year. And I wasn't surprised. I thought both of them were going to get cut last year, especially because the Ravens drafted 2 corners. They drafted Nate Wiggins and TJ Tampa last year. So I was like, oh, yeah, writing's on the wall. Both of them are gone. But they only cut Pepe. They kept Jalen Armour-Davis around. So they got a lot of love for him. So I just wouldn't see him losing out his spot, especially since, yeah, he plays corner, but they've been trying him out at safety too. So he's trying to show like, hey, y'all keep me around. I'm versatile. And especially with Zach Orr calling him the smartest defensive back on the team, yeah, Jalen Armour-Davis probably ain't going nowhere.